Hi everyone and welcome back to a View from Chelsea. This is my interview today with Stu. We're in Stu's man cave for this one. You may have seen it a few times. We have had it on the channel a couple of times. Stu, same as everyone else I've done this to, just a chat, general chat. No worries about there's no wrong right answers.
Okay.
So let me start off with, obviously we've got a massive injury crisis at the moment. Strikers are the biggest problem.
Sure.
How are we going to weather this injury crisis with these strikers? Obviously we see it against Brighton where we had no shots. Go ahead, tell me what you think.
Well, I think we're struggling. I think we made the wrong decisions on the transfer window. We've kind of weakened ourselves from being a strong kind of team with a good backup, and we've kind of weakened ourselves letting Vega out and Felix, I think. The striker situation, we're stuck with what we've got basically. We've got Nkuku or Gui, both of either which aren't good enough. And it's just the best of a bad bunch at the moment.
At what point do you think we should let one of the young lads have a go? Outside of obviously Gui, I know he's injured as well, but outside of him.
Yeah, if we're allowed to bring in someone from the youth team, I think it's not a bad shout. Gui, he doesn't impress me. Gui, I think he's all huff and puff. And Cuckoo, his heart's not in it, so why not give it to a youth team player?
Fair enough. I think it's a hard decision at the moment how to fix this problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously we've seen again after today's game against Villa, we tried playing Neto up top. It kind of half worked for the best part of half an hour and then it went flat again.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we're going to have to fix it. Maresca's got a big job on his hands trying to sort this out over the coming weeks. So let's move on. We've now got through the whole of this season. We get to the summer. Who do we go out and buy? What do you think is our most critical point at this point of picking a player?
Well, I think, as probably other people have said on these interviews, our spine is weak. Pinpointing the correct players, I think, is difficult. We definitely need a goalkeeper. Who that is, I'm not sure. Personally, I would give Petrovic another chance. Defenders, so we had Thiago Silva there before. I think we need another defender similar to Silva, a bit older, experienced, knowing what the Premier League's about. If we could get Virgil van Dijk, that would be great. I don't know what's the opportunities of that.
I don't think we're going to have much chance of getting Virgil van Dijk, but
maybe
I like the ambition.
Yeah, maybe if Liverpool win the league and the European Cup, maybe they'll move on for a new challenge. I don't know, but some of that ilk, I think, an experienced older defender. Similarly, in centre midfield, I think we need exactly the same kind of player. Someone who players like Lavia and Caicedo can learn off. Again, I can't really put a name on that.
What do you mean? It's like a Kante sort of esque player, someone of that sort of ilk. I mean, realistically, we could bring Kante back if we wanted to. I know he's obviously injured a lot, but he would be probably the ideal person for those players to learn off. If that's why you're looking.
Sure, I think ideally someone with experience in there and knows what the Premier League's about, and they can give their knowledge to Caicedo, Lavia. I think will be good players in the long run, but not at the moment. Similarly, up front, I think we need a strong striker. So we've had Diego Costa, Didier Drogba. I think we need exactly the same type of player up front. Again, if we could get someone with experience, even maybe if even Ivan Toney has done his job in Saudi Arabia, earned his money, wants to come back for another season or two, I think he could do a job for us.
It's an interesting pick-up actually on Ivan Toney. I don't think anyone's mentioned Toney outside of, and he would probably be a good stopgap for us to encourage some of the younger players that we've got in the squad to maybe develop and become better strikers.
Exactly.
I think Jackson's got the raw material there. and I think if he's got someone to help guide him along and teach him where he should be when he needs to be in certain places, I think that's probably about right.
Yeah. So I mean, Jackson, I think will eventually come good, but I think he needs teaching, basically.
Cool. So your next question is, what are your thoughts on Todd Bowley and Clearlake and what they're currently doing with the club?
So they've invested a lot of money in the club. Whether it's been spent wisely, I don't think so. Whether they're using this as to like make money out of players, a bit like a business, I don't think is the right way to go about it. There's obviously issue with tickets, yourself and obviously Tim and members. You've paid up to be a member. You go online to get a ticket. You wait 10-15 minutes. You finally get through, only to find out all the tickets are sold online. Todd Bowley is the managing director of Vivid Tickets. But even if today you can buy a ticket for Chelsea-Liverpool on the 3rd of May, even though these tickets are not on sale to the members at the moment, but if you go through Vivid Tickets, you can get a ticket for Chelsea-Liverpool for £600-700. It's not fair. All this is doing is diluting the atmosphere at Chelsea. There's not real fans turning up for Chelsea anymore because they can't get tickets. And although they spent all this money, it's not spent in the right way. That's how I feel at the moment.
I think it's very valid. Obviously, we had Tim on the channel previously talking about the ticket issue. Obviously, there is a protest about to happen at the bridge regarding the whole Clearlake and how the club's being run. Obviously, we're not necessarily happy with the players they've brought in. Like you said, it's been a lot of money spent, but not necessarily spent in the right way. I think you quoted at some point last year that we could have pretty much bought the entire England squad at one point for less than we'd already spent on players. So that's outrageous in the fact that that's on the list anyway.
We had a Champions League winning team. We spent £1.5 billion and we're weaker.
Yeah, I mean, they dismantled that squad, which I think is atrocious. They got rid of the Champions League winning manager at the same time. I'll come on to those points. Okay. Next question for you then is, so obviously we're getting towards the back end and the business end of the season now. What does a good season now look like for Chelsea come the end of the season?
Well, I'd say for a minimum, we've got to finish Champions League places. Chelsea needs to be in the Champions League. Europa Conference, if we don't win that, then it's a failure for Maresca. So I'd say minimum Champions League place, that might be 4th or 5th, depending on if we get the 5th place, and we've got to win that Europa Conference.
I 100% agree with you. The conference should be a minimum. Champions League space, I think the way some clubs are outperforming themselves this season, like Forest have, I could almost concede that we might miss out on the Champions League space because they might nick one. But I do think we should at least be playing Europa League football. The conference level is too, and I'm going to stick this in inverted commas, is too easy for a club like Chelsea, which is why we should be walking it to the final, really. Yeah,
for sure.
So,
for sure, mate. Yeah.
Last question, mate, and it's the big one, especially after what we've seen this evening. Do we sack Maresca or do we keep him? And if so, how much longer?
If we sack Maresca, I think we need to know where we're going. For me, at the moment, I'm not too sure. Sacking Maresca again will put back to square one. Possibly we should give him another season, but it all depends on where we finish in the league and if we win that Europa Conference trophy. If we don't win the conference and we finish 8th, if we get another manager, do we wait another season? and then sack that manager, I don't know. I would give Maresca a minimum of 2 seasons just to give him that chance, I think.
Far more generous than Abramovich has ever been, I think. I think he would have been out the door by this point in time. Thanks, Stu. That's my 5 questions for you. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your effort. Join me for the next video. There will be another rant, especially after tonight's performance again. Villa, it's just been absolute shocking. Catch me in the next one. Like and subscribe. See you then.
Okay.